Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Larkins. We're going to do a review lesson on dividing decimals. You'll be writing 3 things down in your notes, so start on a brand new page, title your page with dividing decimals, and here we go. Just remember that using a calculator and then just trying to throw in your answer looking like you're showing your work is not showing your work. I've actually seen this on the bottom here where kids did the long division bar and then they used a calculator and got that answer and they thought they were showing their work and they're not. So make sure you show all of your steps in your division, okay? All right, here we go. All right, the rules for dividing decimals are a little tricky. The first thing that you're going to do is you have to make sure that the number you're dividing by is a whole number. So if you have a decimal in your divisor, you need to make sure you scoot that decimal over to the right until it is right next to the division bar. So we're scooting this direction. And then if you scoot your decimal twice in your divisor, you also have to scoot your decimal over twice in your dividend. Remember, whole numbers have an invisible decimal after that ones number. So make sure that you add that decimal if you need to. Once you have your decimal in your dividend, move that decimal straight up into your answer, into your quotient. And then finally, after all of those things, then you go and divide. All right, so let's look at our first example here. Before I do that, why don't we go ahead and have you pause the video and get all of this information down. Be very specific in your rules, and I would actually draw this picture out so you know those words dividend, divisor, and quotient. All right, and then push play when you're ready to continue. All right, so let's look at our first example here. We have 2.072 being divided by 5.6. This right here is your divisor. So we need to make this look like a whole number. We're going to have to scoot that decimal over to the right one. And if we do that, we have to do the same thing with our dividend. So instead of writing your problem like this, we need to move that decimal over one here, move that decimal over one here, and the decimal goes right there in your answer. I like to completely start over and rewrite a nice, neat division problem. So I'm going to do 56 on the outside, and then 20.72, and I am going to put that decimal in my answer right now before I forget. All right, we're going to start our problem. 56 cannot go into 2, so you don't start there, and it can't go into 20, but I'm going to put a 0 in the 1 spot here like a placeholder. But 56 can go into 207. Over to the side, I'm going to show my work. I'm going to do some guess and checks. I know that 5 times 4 is 20, so I'm going to try 56 times 4 to see if that will work. Okay, that's 24, and this is 22. So 224 is too big for this number, so I'm going to drop down 1 and try 56 times 3. This is showing your work. All right, this is 18, carrying the 1, 15, 16. All right, so 56 goes into 207 3 times. We're going to put the 3 right over the 7. 3 times 56 is 168. That's why I like to show my work and keep it here. All right, let's do some subtraction. 7 cannot subtract 8. So you have to go borrow way over here to the right. Borrow a 1. We'll leave a 1. Now we have 10. Borrow from there. That's now a 9. 17 minus 8 is 9. And 9 minus 6 is 3. And then that's 0. So as long as this is less than your divisor, you are good to go. Let's go ahead and drop down that 2. And now I'm doing 56 goes into 392. Let's see. I'm going to look, let's see, 5 times 7 is 35. Let's try 7. So 56 times 7, that's a 42. 35 plus 4 is 39. There's my exactly. So how many times does it go? 7. 7 times 56 is 392. You do want to end with a 0. We won't have, obviously, fraction answers when we're doing decimal questions, so this would be my answer. Go ahead and push pause. If you didn't write all of this down, I do want you to show this example, including showing these little multiplication facts over here. So make sure that you do that. And then push play when you're ready to continue. All right, let's give you a chance to do 2 on your own. Go ahead and push pause, write down these 2 questions. Please use pencil, and then if you need to erase your mistake, you can do that. All right, let's get going here. This is my divisor. I need to scoot that over 1, and I need to scoot this over 1. So my question is 26. I had to move that decimal over here, and it is going to be going into 8.32. Now, why did I do that? Because that had to be a whole number, so if I move the decimal in our divisor 1, I have to move the decimal over in our dividend. Now bring that decimal straight up. All right. 26 goes into 83. I think 4 is going to be too big, but I'm going to go here and try 4. That's 24. 100, yep, that's too big. So let's try times 3. 18, 6, 7. All right, so that one will work. We're going to do times 3. 3 times 26 is 78. Can't do this, you have to borrow. 13 minus 8 is 5, and that's nothing. All right, let's drop down that 2. I think it's twice, but I'm going to go check my work real fast. All right, 26 times 2. Let's check to see if that's 52. Carry. All right, 52. So 26 goes into 52 twice. That answer is exactly 52. So my final answer is 32 hundredths, 0.32. All right, this is your divisor. That's the one that goes on the outside. And this is your dividend, the 3. Remember, there is an invisible decimal right here. So we're going to need to add a 0. You can't divide unless this is a whole number. So you're going to move this one over, and you're going to move this one over. Let's go rewrite this question as 15 goes into 30. And that turns into a very easy question with no remainder. So 3 divided by 1.5 or 1.5 is 2. All right, let's do 2 more practice. Pause the video and then push play when you're ready to check your answers. All right, remember this is your divisor, so we have to make this a whole number by moving your decimal over. So instead of 2.1, it is going to be 21. And instead of 0.882, it's going to be 8.82. Remember, the first thing you want to do is get that decimal in your answer so you don't forget the decimal. Don't be a decimal dork and forget your decimal. All right, so let's put a 0 here, but it looks like 21 can go into 88. I'm going to go off to the side and try times 4. That's going to be 84. So that's 4 times 84. When we subtract, we get 4. Drop down the 2. And I know 21 times 2 is exactly 42. So it goes in 2 times and 42. So my answer to this is 42 hundredths, 0.42. All right, let's try this 4.8 divided by 1.2. Remember, this is your divisor. We're going to scoot our decimal over twice, but this number only has one number. We're going to have to add a 0. So let's show you what it looks like underneath this bar here. So we have 0.12. So when I go and scoot my decimal over twice, I want to do that a different color. we need to add a 0 here because I'm going to go 1, 2. So it's going to be 12 goes into 480. So scoot over twice, and my decimal is invisible, but it's right there. All right, 12 goes into 48 exactly 4 times. Make sure you put that 4 right over the 8. If you write really big, your problem's going to be messed up because your handwriting's too big and too messy. All right, 4 times 12 is 48. Now, it is super duper important that you put a number right here. 12 doesn't go into 480 4 times, it goes in 40 times. 0 times 12 is 0, and we have nothing left. But you have to fill the space. Once you start your quotient with your answer, you have to fill the space with zeros. So 4.8 divided by 0.12 equals 40. All right, I hope that helped. I think division with decimals is probably the trickiest out of the 4 operations, but you just need practice. More practice, you get better and better at it. All right, talk to you later.